For example, researchers have been able to genetically engineer fruit flies to live 3 times their normal lifespans. They accomplish this by first selecting naturally long-lived fruit flies and then identifying which genes in those long-lived fruit flies were different from normal fly genes. They found 400 age-related genes. They then used already known drugs and substances that affect those genes in order to activate, to turn up anti-aging genes and to turn down, deactivate aging genes within normal flies. Through that process, they've now produced flies that live 3 times their normal lifespans. You may think that fruit flies aren't really relevant to humans until you realize that over 70% of fruit fly genes have closely related genes in humans. Researchers are now currently identifying those age-affecting genes in humans and are testing drugs and supplements that will act on those specific genes. Once we know what a specific gene does and how its internal chemical software is written, we can then use technology to rewrite its chemical software by inserting new, chemically encoded fragments into a cell's DNA in order to inhibit or to promote specific gene functions. Such gene therapy holds enormous potential. Already in trials, biotech scientists have cured children born with a genetic defect that causes blindness. They accomplish this by first inserting the correct DNA into an innocuous virus that, in turn, is inserted back into the eyes of those blind children. This cured their blindness. Through such genetic engineering, medical scientists delivered a normal version of the gene into the eyes of children with the mutated blindness-causing gene. Similar gene therapy techniques have been used in late-stage skin cancer patients. Some patients have had their previously incurable skin cancers completely eliminated through such gene therapy. Another very promising example of gene therapy is a program that targets a gene called the fat insulin receptor. This fat insulin receptor gene evolved millions of years ago in order to instruct our bodies to hang on to every single calorie we ingest by turning it into fat. The next hunting and gathering season may be lean and we could face starvation otherwise. Of course, that gene is now responsible for our overweight obesity epidemic. But biotech scientists have already figured out how to turn off that fat insulin receptor gene in mice through gene therapy. Those mice can now eat like crazy and still stay slim. And they don't develop metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart disease, and so on. Plus, they live 20% longer. Those mice have the benefits of a calorie-restricted diet without actually cutting down on how many calories they eat. Realize that our genes are simply information. Beneath our surface, we are all actually just genetic code. As biotechnology converges with information technology, we will be able to rewrite our biologic code, much like computer scientists have been writing computer code for years, in order to rejuvenate and repair our bodies on a genetic DNA level. Such emerging technologies will ultimately make us immune to aging and disease. In fact, scientists now believe that they will eventually be able to rewrite our genetic code in order to reinforce the entire human genome against all aging damage. Right now, as we speak, there are literally thousands of such developments in the pipeline, and our ability to do gene manipulation is accelerating.